Okay, fantastic. Day 27. Yes, day 27. We're going to go ahead and we've gotten started in Zoom. The chat is started. Feel free to ask any questions that you may have. The Spanish translation has started. Andres de Rense is doing this live. Today, we officially start our second trimester. We have moved into the second trimester, family. Okay, the first 5 weeks are behind us. Yesterday was week 6. Today, I'm going to tell you that if you have not enrolled yet in your second trimester, I want you to start real estate practice. Real estate principles are now behind us. Real estate practice is next. Real estate law will be last. So if you are using this class to keep pace with your reading, there is significantly less reading now than there was in previous weeks, which is fantastic. So you only have to do 4 chapters, about 40 pages a day if you wanted to break it up into 5-week sections. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and jump in because today we actually have it's a fun class. We're going to handle the myths of real estate and handling multiple offers, which is, of course, a very appropriate topic to be discussing right now. So let's go ahead and let's jump into the myths of real estate. Let's bring up our fancy little asterisk that lets everybody know where we're at. Okay, so I'm going to address the 4 myths of real estate. This is something that I wrote about in the Machine Gunner's Guide to Real Estate, which I do not suggest that you read. The Machine Gunner's Guide to Real Estate was a little bit wild, and of course, some people really enjoy it, but I would imagine some people can't get through it. It is a rough one. It's something that I wrote while I was going through a spiritual crisis, but this is one of those excerpts from that in which I just info dumped a bunch of information. So the myths of real estate. I want to be my own boss. That's true to a certain degree. However, most real estate agents get lost in a place where they are not only not their own boss, they're employees. They get treated like employees, they treat themselves like employees, and so they don't treat themselves like owners, or regardless of the fact that they go around preaching ownership, they don't act like, God bless you, they own their own business. And so that's really important if you understand the difference between the two. So I want to be my own boss. Now, the truth is, if you're good at it, you're going to have plenty of bosses. You're going to have plenty of clients who, of course, are partnered with you in their goal towards achieving real estate success. And there's a lot of different ways to look at it. High driving D-type personalities really like the idea of like, no, they are your boss. This is, it is a service that you're providing. SC type personalities really enjoy the idea of it being a collaborative effort. Okay, so I want to be my boss. The fact is, if you're good at it, you're going to have plenty of bosses, and they're all going to have different needs and different wants. And so establishing boundaries is going to be a good way for you to understand how to serve all of them while not getting lost in the process. Okay, the next illusion of real estate is I want to work when I want to work. Now, this only becomes true as you become more successful, develop more systems, and sort of develop a team around you. Until you get to that point, you're going to be in a situation where you're going to have to work when your clients want you to work, or when people are able to be prospected to. Because of course, and you guys are going to learn about this next week, but Barino taught a fantastic course yesterday to our high school students. And they talked about how really 50% of your day should be dedicated towards lead generation, talking to past clients, generating new clients, new contacts, et cetera, and so forth. So there is some wiggle room in this, but you have to prospect. You have to understand that if your job is real estate, that you need to get out there and serve people through real estate. And if you are a real estate agent, that's not a bad word. You're really providing people with a valuable service through which they can create generational wealth. And in my neighborhood alone, somebody said to me the other day, why would you preach to someone that they buy in a market like this? And I said, well, people waiting for the market to go down are going to keep waiting, right? And so why would I suggest to them that they continue to pay off somebody else's mortgage is really the truth. that's something that you really want to look at. So if you're creating generational wealth, you're paying off your own mortgage. And better yet, you own multiple properties with which are being paid off. So I believe in real estate. Furthermore, in my market alone, the average home in the French Valley area has appreciated over $100,000 in value in the last 12 months. So why would I not believe in my product? Why would I not believe in my product? Now, addressing the next solution before we get into handling multiple offers in a market like this one, the next illusion, I want to take time off. Now, here's the illusion in real estate. I am constantly at a winery, or I'm constantly on vacation. A lot of the real estate agents that you see that are constantly at wineries have other people that are working for them. Or they don't, this isn't their primary source of income. They have somebody else who's paying the bills, right? And so the truth is you have to get in the trenches. You have to work, right? So people talk about, oh, well, geez, I see the life of the average real estate agent, and really they're chilling by the pool. They're sipping, what do people drink by the pool? Mai Tais. They're drinking Mai Tais. I don't like alcohol. It's not my vibe. But they're drinking Mai Tais. They're hanging out. They're playing golf. But then you realize that the average real estate agent sells about 2 houses a year. And is that a life with which you can support you and your family? So the truth is in the beginning, when you're creating that snowball effect, where you're generating business, you're working either your business to business or your business to client, right? You have to get down on your hands and knees and create that first snowball with which you can create an avalanche. So don't plan on taking a whole bunch of time off in the beginning. Take some time off, a lot for your evenings or for a day at most. But in the beginning, the truth is even taking a full day can end up being detrimental when you're trying to figure out how to feed your family. Okay, so illusion. Here's my favorite illusion to shatter. There were a lot of people in my office that breathed this sort of toxic energy, and of course, a lot of office environments can create this sort of shared struggle. Everybody, all our clients are terrible. They're all stupid. All agents are terrible and they're dumb. And there's a lot of negative things that fester in these sort of environments. And one of those negative vibes is you will not make money in your first year. There's a lot of these curmudgeon type agents that hang around the water cooler and they don't work and they go around telling, oh, you're not going to make money your first year. Just plan on it. Plan on not making money your first year. Now, I don't know about you, but I was not in a situation where I could financially plan on not making money my first year. I don't know anybody, or I don't know very many people outside of maybe the 92591 that can take off a full year to pursue something unpaid, right? So the truth is your success is up to you. Your success will be defined by the number of uncomfortable conversations that you're willing to have. Your success will be defined by the number of phone calls, the number of face-to-face opportunities that you give yourself. You have to be out there in the trenches, especially in your first year, until you get systems going. And the truth is the more time that you take off and the more time that you escape from your business, the more animosity will start building towards you. Now, here's the truth. The emperor was not in Rome when Rome burned, right? And so when you establish a situation where you're building a kingdom or you're helping people to build their own kingdoms or queendoms, right? You need to be in a situation where you can support other people. And the best way to support other people is by not losing your own footing, right? Everybody admires the good king who fights from the front. Everybody admires Leonidas. Everybody admires I'm lacking really great examples because the truth is we don't have a lot of these examples anymore of hardened leadership, of real leadership. We have a lot of people who want to manage other people so that they can have them create wealth for them and their families instead of put them in a situation to where collaboratively they are creating wealth. Okay, so be careful, especially in that first year in real estate or really anywhere in real estate, because there are always going to be people who are looking to take advantage of you, unfortunately. So let's go ahead and let's jump into this next section, which is going to be handling multiple offers in this market. So I wrote a blog called Handling Multiple Offers, the Third Great Migration, and the Real Estate Boom. Now, of course, all of my blogs start off as like these 500-word ideas and then end up becoming 5,000 words or 20,000 words, I think was my longest blog for lab coat. So what I've started doing is putting like 10 tips that you can digest while you're on the toilet, and then give you more information that if you are interested in why it's doing what it's doing, you can dive into that. So this blog is entitled Handling Multiple Offers, the Third Great Migration, and the Real Estate Boom. In it, I really go into what's happening right now with people moving for opportunity, others being in a situation where there is no opportunity, and so the rental market is inflating, but there is always opportunity in the shift, and I didn't even plan that. There's always opportunity in the shift. There's always opportunity in rebuilding from the ashes, in emergence from the ashes. And so this is a part of this big shift that we're experiencing, is that real estate is very hot right now. Real estate is very hot right now. And the truth is it doesn't look like it's going to let off with this first-time home buyer credit happening. Plan on your market doing more of what it is already doing, if not stabilizing. Like if you're in a market that's been hit already, like San Francisco, like LA, I would plan on some restabilizing as schools start to reopen because the vaccine is available. I would plan on the economy picking back up. I'm always going to bet on the people. And right now, the truth is if the people unite, we have more power than ever. And so there's a lot of opportunity for those willing to seize it. So how do you do that? How do you handle multiple offers in a situation like this? So first off, the way that a lot of people get themselves into trouble is that they oversell the market to their client. They say, oh, you know what? Let's list it for 15,000 over. We're going to get so many offers, it's not going to be a big deal anyway. When the truth is you can't, pigs get fed and hogs get slaughtered. By pricing it at or around market value and then bidding it up, you're going to have more of an opportunity of getting more money. But the truth is what people do is they say, in a market like what was happening in 2008, when people are saying, oh, I'm going to price my house for $10,000 more than their neighbor, and they're getting it, that's happening. The difference between this market and 2008 is that more people will continue to have equity, and I don't think that that is going to plateau anytime soon, because there is still scarcity in housing. Okay, so that being said, don't oversell this market to your client. Just tell them, hey, listen, the inventory is very low. There is a likelihood that you will get multiple offers. That being said, the best thing that we could do is manage them effectively so that we can get the most amount for you and your family and honor the terms that are most important to you and your family. Because sometimes that term is when they want to move. Sometimes it's how much they want to net. Sometimes it is they want to be able to be empowered as a buyer to get their offer accepted. So there's a lot of different things that are motivating different people, and you kind of want to find out what you can, gather that intel so that you can write an offer that is going to appeal to their needs. What do you guys need? What is your timeline looking like? Are they also buying? Okay, how can I set you guys up for success, right? And then in that way, you're not necessarily as a buyer going out of your pocket, but you're actually offering terms that are more agreeable, which is a good thing to do, right? So as a listing agent, don't oversell the market to your client. Instead, sell your ability to market to your client. Sell your ability to manage the expectation of multiple offers without overwhelming them. Okay, number two, don't overspend on your listing. So there are a lot of people that are, they'll go to the nines, promoting their marketing package and whatnot. When the truth is, there are more and more people who are like, listen, I don't even want to sign up. You know what I mean? Or like, hey, listen, I want to sign up, but I only want 1 day of showings. In fact, we put an offer in on a property last week where the person only allowed 3 days of showings, and it was Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. They didn't even let the house go on the market on the weekend. And I guarantee you they still got plenty of interest. So we're just in a market right now where inventory is so low, you don't necessarily have to overspend on your listing. And in fact, if you have a house that is like, and I'm just going to go ahead and call a thing, a lot of my veteran clients, they have dogs, or, the house is a little bit, maybe they did some homeowner repairs that aren't necessarily looking that great. They put in their own flooring or whatnot. Normally, I would be like, "Hey, listen, that's ugly, bro. You gotta let's swap it out." But now we're in a situation where it's not necessarily going to affect them, and in fact, if they spend the money, they're going to lose it because it's not necessarily going to net them more in a lot of different situations. So I wasn't even putting up a for sale sign for a while there on my listings. I was just like, letting them sell themselves, right? Putting it on the MLS and talking to agents exclusively. That being said, the listing that we took yesterday, we put a listing sign up yesterday. We got a call from neighbors saying we want to buy the house, et cetera, and so forth. And of course, do these sort of situations work out? Not always, but it's worth seeing through. And of course, my due diligence always has to be to the seller to make sure that they get the best offer on the best terms possible for them, right? So all of that being said, put up the sign, shoot some decent photos, right? We hired Bree Hunter, of course. Bree is excellent here local. If you don't know who Bree is, let me know, and I will make sure that you can find her. Now, list on the right day. Now, again, the market, I wrote this just a few months ago. And a few months ago, you were not allowed to have coming soons on the MLS. Now, you can market a property as coming soon. So that being said, I wouldn't market a property for 3 weeks as coming soon because it will actually lose some interest, in my opinion. I think that what you do is instead of, oh, hey, let's take one shot of the exterior, let's get the house ready, and then, in 3 weeks when we're ready, we'll put it on the market. It's like, hey, listen, let's put it on the market on Monday. We could do it coming soon for like a week or like less than. But the truth is, you do it for too long, you overplay your hand, and you cool off a little bit. So I would, get that house listed and really allow your client to manage their showings and what works for them. A lot of people are saying, hey, listen, I'll be gone Saturday and Sunday from these hours to these hours. So list on the right day. Give everyone a chance. Now, that being said, so a lot of times you'll receive an offer in a market like this one as a listing agent to represent both sides. Now, that being said, is there still a good chance that there might be somebody who is representing a buyer who is willing to pay more than that buyer who went directly to you? Absolutely. And that's why every single one of these times, 100% of the times, even if I get a great offer in from the buyer, I'm still going to allow it to go to the market to see if there's a better one out there, because my due diligence is to the seller, not to my pocketbook, right? So give everyone a chance, let everyone know when to see it, and then in my opinion, don't pull it off the market. Like, this is one of those things that really drives a lot of buyers agents nuts, right? What happens is people will schedule showings for Saturday and for Sunday. They'll accept an offer Saturday night or Sunday morning, and then people go and they show the property, and they never even had a chance. And then what happens is people become disenfranchised, they become disenchanted, and then they actually want to check out from the market and they no longer want to buy, which is detrimental to our industry, in my opinion. So if you're going to list and you're going to say there will be showings on 2 days, honor the showings on 2 days. Encourage your clients to honor the showings on 2 days. Present the offers as they come in, but honor the showings. If you tell your client, let's do 1 day of showings, or let's leave it open, then just be transparent about that. Okay, so give everyone a chance. Let's see here. Schedule the showings in time blocks. Again, like I said, this was a few months ago. We have another listing that we just listed. It's probably going to be this same sort of thing, if not more. Listing a house on Friday, having 30 showings, 12 offers, people waiving the appraisal contingency by Monday, and then making showings convenient for your sellers while following COVID-19 guidelines by asking for 2 to 3 large blocks of time in advance. So almost like an open house, except for not an open house. It's giving agents an opportunity to bring their clients through one at a time. And a lot of times people end up lined up outside. That's okay. That's okay. All right, here we go. Let's move on. Again, like I said, don't prioritize dual agency. Your due diligence as a listing agent is going to be to your seller, even if you get into a situation where you get to represent the buyer as well. Now, if you get in a situation where you get that opportunity, it benefits both of them. You just have to disclose it. Look, I'm going to be representing both parties. I'm going to be 100% transparent throughout all of this. I'm going to tell my seller exactly what I believe is in their best interest. I'm going to tell you the same, and I'm going to give you an opportunity to tell me what you want to do. Myself acting as this party in between will find a mutual agreement, and a lot of times both the buyer and the seller, not a lot of times, 100% of the times that I've done this, both the buyer and the seller have been extraordinarily grateful for the transaction and have felt represented. So that being said, here we go. Don't get too greedy in your seller multiple counteroffer. Now, again, my favorite saying, pigs get fed, hogs get slaughtered. And so if you get greedy, sometimes people say they'll get one or two offers, right? Or they'll get three offers. And then they'll send out a multiple counteroffer that's so aggressive that all three offers will walk away. You know what I mean? Like if you get 12 or 15 offers, you can afford to send out a more aggressive multiple counteroffer versus overplaying your hand, right? Let's say you're in a market that's a little bit cooler, or you're in a house that's not as desirable, or there's not going to be that feeding frenzy. Like not everybody is looking for two mobiles on 15 acres out in Owanga, right? But, you know, that being said, that certain person is, right? So different markets require different things. So if you send out a multiple counteroffer and you've got three people that have submitted strong offers, and then you write out this really aggressive offer, they could all walk away, and then ultimately you end up suffering in the long run as you're going back to people saying, oh, you know what, please, will you submit an offer? You know what, everybody actually walked away, when in actuality what would happen is if you send out the multiple counteroffer, you allow these professionals that are representing these buyers to advise their clients accordingly. A lot of times what will happen is they'll come up with a very creative offer, send it your way, everyone will be happy, and you won't have scared everyone off, right? And then furthermore, God bless you, furthermore, and this is probably the most important thing, if you rake somebody over the coals during the negotiation process, what happens is buyers get resentful. And when they get resentful, they want to get something back during the request for repairs, right? So, of course, one of the ways that you can, it's always chess, right? One of the ways that you can counteract this as a seller is to get a solid home inspection before you list. That way people have access to that already, right? That being said, a lot of people don't do that. So what ends up happening is you end up in a negotiation where you're not just negotiating health and safety request, which that's what resell is really about, but you're negotiating, what's the right term for it, cosmetic repairs, and you can't even do carpet allowances or paint credits during, a VA. Anyway, we could completely go off into the woods, but the truth is you don't need to get greedy. And if you do get greedy, a lot of times that'll come back to haunt you. Your buyers will be less likely or more likely to cancel, more likely to send over a super aggressive response, et cetera, and so forth. Next, number 8, you don't need to take every phone call. There are a lot of agents out there really shaming other agents online right now, being like, oh, people aren't taking their phone calls. No wonder why, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, listen, if you've got a good listing right now in this market and you marketed it right and you priced it right, there's a pretty good chance that your phone is ringing off the hook. And if you have a family, if you have a life whatsoever, it is okay to let these phone calls go to voicemail, right? and then be deliberate with who you're texting back. I've had people text me back, I'm not responding to every text message directly, but this is what's going on. And then they just send it out to everybody. So just have a little bit of compassion for people that are trying to do the best that they can here. Now, be kind. That's number 9. There's a kind way to say things, and often listing agents forget this, and it comes back to bite them, or buyer's agent's shoe if it's on the other foot. Above all, remember that there's a human being behind every transaction, and that people are important. Okay, the saying which helped me as an adult is, say what you mean what you say, but don't say it mean, right? There is not necessarily a situation where you have to be harsh with the truth, right? If you take a listing, and there's a listing agent that did this, and they said, your house smells like dog piss, and you can say, you know what, there is a pet aroma when I come in here, when I'm walking in, and the saying is, if you can smell it, you can't sell it. And what I would suggest doing is maybe either replacing the carpets or at least getting them clean, right? Now, sometimes it's just better to replace the carpets than try to mask the fragrance. And you can get really good pricing on carpet these days. Number 10, don't drag people through the mud. Now, this might seem like I'm being redundant with what I said in the last one with, what was that last one where I said, don't get greedy. But don't drag people through the mud. Now, once your first offer comes in, it would be better to call everybody than accept that first offer and walk off with it. And just call the people who are scheduled to show it. Call the people who've seen it. And instead of accepting that first offer, just saying, hey, Janet, this is David Serpa. I just want to give you a courtesy call and let you know that we did receive our first offer, and I wanted to give you a call to see if you or your clients would be interested in submitting one, because I know what the market's like and I don't want you guys to miss out on a potential opportunity. Okay, great. Thank you so much for calling. I appreciate that, David. We will get that offer over to you. We were considering it. We just had no idea that you were going to get an offer so quickly. And so if you give people a situation to represent their clients, and if you're truthful and transparent with them, they'll thank you for it, right? In conclusion, there's always an opportunity in real estate where your market is on the incline or the decline, and people remember this, right? So if you end up being in a situation to where you're terrible to people when you've got a lot of power, they're going to remember that when the pendulum swings, and eventually the pendulum swings. Okay, all of that. So I'm going to, at this point, open it up to questions. We went over the myths of real estate today. We talked about handling multiple offers in a seller's market, and we went over the 10 tips on how to do that. I'm going to check the Zoom for questions. It looks like there is none on Facebook. Let's see here. If there's none on Zoom, that's quite all right. Today, if we call it a little bit early. Let's see here. Okay, cool. All right, pretty self-explanatory. I'm going to go ahead and kill the Facebook feed, and I'm going to leave it active for a few more moments on Zoom to allow anyone to ask any questions that they might have offline. All right, have a good day, everybody.